Today's video is going to be extremely unconventional. First, I'm standing up. Second, I'm wearing pants. And third, this is launching on the first day of February. Normally you're thinking, hey man, well the first day of every month is time for extreme expos. That was set to launch today. However, this badass Harley Quinn statue came in from Prime One Studio, and I am so excited about it. I honestly think it might be the best one ever made, which is good because I had to wait over 2 years for her. So you can wait 24 hours for Extreme Expos. That will launch tomorrow. Today, we're going to review the Deluxe Prime One Studio Harley Quinn statue. Did you think it froze? I got you again. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. So welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. We are looking at a $1,300 collectible from DC, specifically made by Prime One Studio. This is the Joker's better half, Harley Quinn. So this is 1/3 scale, meaning a real-life version of her would be 3 times larger, which looking at it compared to me, that seems pretty right. Now we're going to do an in-depth review, and in the intro I mentioned this might be the best Harley Quinn statue ever made. It's not without its problems, so we're going to talk about that as well. But I'm really stoked to have her. She is absolutely beautiful, as a spoiler. And I've been waiting for that one Harley Quinn statue because there are so many different options. So I do own this one by Sideshow Collectibles, and I've owned a few in the past as well. And I can't wait to put her with my 1/3 scale DC collection. I have about 25 statues. If you want to see what that looks like, I'm going to post exclusive content on my social media sites. Make sure to check out the link in the description for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But again, super stoked to have her. Despite some of the design flaws, she does not disappoint. Now, if you're unfamiliar with who Harley Quinn is, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing watching. Seriously, you should probably be doing something else. But I love everything they did here. I think they absolutely incorporated the essence of Harley Quinn, which is what we're going to kick off the review talking about concept today. And there is so much going on both on the front and the back of the statue that it's hard to quantify it all, but let's try. So first of all, this rock-like stone base is actually an ode to Joker. There's actually a stone statue of Joker holding the roller rink or the ramp that she is actually going up and down. She's in her classic skates you're going to see. And there's carnage everywhere. When I say carnage, not only representations of Joker, but there are lights and dynamite and bombs. And actually in the back of the statue you have about 30 more sticks of dynamite that aren't lit yet. But as you move up the statue, you just see so much playful camaraderie. Remember, she's really sadistic. She loves games and toys and things of that nature, and she represents that in her outfit as well. So what they did in this is they took kind of the comic version and they made a few twists on it because she is represented many different ways. But not only does she have her roller skates and her knee pads on, she has weapons, a revolver. There's some switch out options that we're going to look at with almost a utility belt, so to say, with additional grenades and ammo and assumably other things. Suspenders holding her up. She's in a very sexy outfit. She has a few scars, a few band-aids over there, a few band-aids over her body from playing roller derby, assumably. And I like that they don't over-sexualize her, but they do have a little bit of flair to this. That's pretty cool. The way you see her displayed now, she actually has her trademark mallet. With a very serious portrait at this time, this is the Deluxe. And we don't know what she's doing, honestly. You don't ever know what's going on in her mind. Is Joker coming over? Is she about to fight Batman? Is she just playing around with some of her friends, maybe the Birds of Prey? Who the hell knows? But there is so much going on, and it still doesn't tell us what's in the mind of Harley Quinn, which I think is pretty cool. So I think the concept is amazing. I think that it takes up a little bit too much room, which we'll talk about in design. But I'm going to give the concept a 5 out of 5. I love they incorporated the maniacal aspect of Harley. They incorporated a lot of her traditional stuff. There's some Joker things in there, tons of carnage going on. You know, this light-up feature we'll talk about makes it look like a party. So design is where there's a lot of cool stuff, and there were a ton of issues. Before we look at those, take a look at the unboxing and assembly. 2 giant heavy boxes from Prime One Studio. The first box, box number 1, had the base and a few of the portrait displays and a few other items. You can see it unwrapped right here. The second box had 2 layers and a ton of pieces. Check this out. Now a lot of this is because her pigtails, or ponytails, are a separate piece. Here's the second layer. Had Harley and the big Joker part of the statue in all the portraits. All right, I'm going to get the measurements. We have a lot to talk about, but the widest point is probably a little over 23 inches. Check out Prime One Studio or Sideshow's website. That's where I got this from. The tallest part is just over 35 if she has the hammer switch out. We're going to look at some switch outs. It's a very deep statue, a little over 20 inches. So let's talk about the display options. First, you see this light right here. So you can twist this however you want. There's an on switch right in the back. The battery compartment you saw in the assembly was the first thing I did. It's actually underneath the Joker head. It takes 4 AAA batteries. I didn't think I'd like this because I don't like light up features. It is pretty cool though. Whoa, Joker's head just moved. And it's easy to turn on and off if you have access to the back. Now this is the deluxe version. So they made a regular version and a deluxe version. We'll talk a little bit more of that in value. But this came with 4 different portraits. So first, with her classic blonde hair, this kind of, I call this almost an innocent portrait. And then, I believe this is the deluxe one, has a little bit more of a maniacal smile. This is probably my favorite. The portraits are beautiful, by the way. Another thing on the portraits, too, the lighting is really difficult on this statue. It's making it appear a lot more white than it is. So when we get to the close-ups of paint and sculpt, you'll actually see what it looks like. So stay tuned for that. But then you have the red and green hair. You have one where she's winking at you and a Band-Aid on her face. And then what I call the pissed off portrait. Now all of them come with this mallet, this hammer, like that. But the deluxe version has 2 different swap outs here. First, the left arm can be holding a gun to the back, a revolver here. And it has a bang sign you can remove if you want. The right arm, again, a revolver, and it has the bang sign. And then if you wanted to insinuate that she removed that revolver from the holster, here's an empty holster on her right hip, and then a full holster. So the full holster would work with any of the switch outs, because she could always have an additional gun. But I think the empty holster is meant for those 2 guns out like this. Now on all these portraits, you can kind of see down here, they have extra portrait displays, which I absolutely love, especially since they are all so great. Now during assembly, I did have 2 big problems. First, check out in the back here where her skates are. You can see the key that goes in. It significantly sticks out.
That's what she said.
Then her wrist up here where the hammer attaches. The hammer attaches to both arms, so it won't get a full seal on the right arm here. And I'm speculating those specific design issues are a big part of why it was delayed. Which pisses you off a little bit. You delay it. I think it was delayed for over a year, and you still can't get things right. I also would have loved if they figured out a way for her to hold the mallet and a gun. I think that would have been really cool. I don't like how you have to do both with the mallet or both with the guns. Although I do like both options. So I definitely think there was some opportunity on the design. I love the different portraits. While it wouldn't have gone with this costume well, I would have loved to see a mask. I don't know, do you call that a mask? It's almost like a cowl, but the traditional Harley Quinn portrait. So I think that should have been an option. So I think the design is a 3 out of 5. Hopefully the issues I have with mine aren't with everybody's. If they are with everybody's, I would probably downgrade that. However, paint and sculpt are done really well. Really impressed. Like I said, my favorite part is the portraits. And let's take a look at why. Now, normally when I do the close-ups here, I hate showing stuff in the background, but this just takes up so much room, it's kind of hard not to. So I want to start with her portraits down here, because they are all fantastic. So this is her winking one. I believe this is the regular. The Band-Aid could have been better. It's not protruding enough from the skin, in my opinion, and that's the same on this this one as well. But I love the hair. The strands look fantastic. The ponytails. And the hair is very similar. I think it's the same exact style in every single one, or very similar. But they did a really nice job. I love the skin texture. A little bit of clown makeup, but not too much, which is, in my opinion, exactly what you want with Harley. The decals on the eyes look great. I'm not a fan of decals on eyes, but they did a really nice job. The luscious lips. Also, that collar that she has with the bells hides the seam line whenever you switch it out, so that was very smart of them. And then I just like this kind of clown costume. That reminds me of her traditional costume that they have for these displays. And then here is also another regular version, I believe. Again, very innocent on this, and I think she looks beautiful. I love the little heart on there. Great job around the eyes, the makeup, a little bit different color of lipstick. And there is white on there. It's kind of hard to tell. I think they put the perfect amount, so it's not, caked on clown makeup, but really adds to her complexion. Then you have the Deluxe. This is where a little bit of a smirk. It looks very evil. Eyes are very wide open. Great job. And on here, her hair is not completely dyed like the last one. It's growing out. It's just the tips of the ponytails. And the blonde looks fantastic. Then underneath that, there's a small museum-style base. So moving on to here, I think the concrete looks great. I like texture in my concrete. I like the fact they added dirt, so it's not so monotonous. You have the Joker hand coming up here. Really looks like a concrete pillar of someone wearing a glove. I like how they did that. And then here is the stone statue. This guy looks evil as hell. I love what they did with it. It's partially cracked. She even wrote a little Easter egg there. Harley Quinn plus Mr. J. Looks great. Then the card here. I really like this base. It tells a lot. And even on the back here, so something you won't see is, it says Harley Quinn, then here's all the dynamite we were talking about. Dynamite looks very cartoonish, very comic-like, but this statue is supposed to be. It has this modern twist of realism, especially when we look at Harley, but I still think it works well. Even with the fire effect on the fuses here. Very playful. I think that's what I like about it. The ramp looks fantastic. Looks like real wood. I have seen better wood, but I think they did a really good job with the paint on this. And then the striations in the wood give it this very realistic feel. They look like real planks. So everything on her is fully sculpted. So as you look at the skates, the laces, and pom-pom balls or whatever you call those look okay. I think they could have been better. It's probably the weakest part of the statue, but the skates look amazing, look like real skates. And the different colors they used, they stuck with, kind of a template of the red and black, but they varied it up, not only the shades, but they kind of inverse the colors. So like look on her skates here, how this one where it's red and black, it's the opposite on this one. And the same thing about her leggings here and knee pads. I love that crisscross aspect of it, kind of the yin-yang. She does have a Band-Aid on her thigh too. This one protrudes a little bit more than those portraits, although the blonde portraits are kind of my favorite. I love the anatomy. I think they did a really nice job capturing, very fit, sexy woman. Even the socks down here look great. They added a little bit of texture and bulkiness to them. There's the ass shot for you guys. Her belt, Primal Studio does an amazing job on pouches. I don't know what it is. Holster looks like real leather, but they do such a good job with the detail on their pouches and all their figures. I love the handle of the revolver. Now her skin color, I'm not digging, like I said, I like the portrait skin color, and here's kind of where you can see how white it is. I don't know what it is. I think there's almost too much pink in it, maybe. They added too much pink highlights. But again, great anatomy. Her top here looks like real leather. Great job around the buckles. And she's got some shoulder pads here. The wood on the mallet looks great too. It looks cracked on the end. It's not as good as I would say like what we looked at down here, but still very impressive. And even the detail in her hands, the gloves and the fingers, the fingernail polish. They did a really nice job. There's the handle of the hammer. Then her pissed off portrait again. Yeah, very impressive on both the paint and sculpt. I think Prime One Studio did an amazing job. And that light up feature, it does add quite a bit. Let's start with the paint. I think Prime One Studio did a good job. There's no bleed over. It's very clean. I think the choice of colors works really well with the statue. I think the paint's a 4 out of 5. I think they did a really nice job despite some of the things I talked about. Sculpt, I'm really impressed. I love the anatomy. I love the things going on with the base. Again, for the 5th time, I love the portraits. I think the sculpt is a 5 out of 5 on this piece. Great job by Prime One Studio. Now let's talk about the value. So they made 950 of these. 500 are their deluxe, what I have. So that includes 2 additional portraits and the guns. Or you could have bought the regular. They made 450 of those for $1,100. Now, the going rate for a 1/3 scale piece nowadays is about $1,300 to $1,700. However, when this went up for PO more than 2 years ago, about $1,100 was kind of that magic number. So they were asking a lot, $250 for the extra portraits and the extra guns, but I definitely think it's worth it. But I don't think you can go wrong without that either. Now, if you are interested in picking this up, I think Sideshow still has the regular left. There is an affiliate link in the description. I actually get money if you buy that. It doesn't cost you anything, but you can check that out. Now, I think the value is really good. However, the problem is there's a lot of competitor statues with Harley Quinn. Even Prime One Studio, I think they've done 3 or 4 1/3 scale. But to me, this is everything I've ever wanted. This is my ultimate Harley Quinn statue. And I think collectors are going to be really impressed as more and more people get them in hand. And I don't think it's going to go for retail on the aftermarket. I think it'll go above that. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 on the value for this piece because there's so much going on. And I really do think you get a lot for your money. Now, does this have the X factor? I'm putting this actually next to my favorite Joker, which is my Bermejo Joker. And the problem is he's probably going to be about this tall on this, which I don't really like, but I love everything about this. I think she looks amazing. I think this is a 5 out of 5 statue. It was definitely worth the wait despite the issues that are going on. Props to Prime One Studio. Hopefully they fix some of these QC issues for future releases because it seems like there's more and more coming and nothing actually breaks from the issues. But really happy to have her in my collection. What do you guys, which Harley Quinn statue, all versions, all scales, is your favorite? Throw that in the comments below because you could actually win a statue with that comment. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Tomorrow we will do Extreme Expos. That's where we talk about all the cool upcoming things. It's one of the most popular segments, so make sure to check that out. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. And yes, I do say it's February 1st tomorrow, even though it's not, but it's Groundhog Day, so you could say I'm doing it again. But with that being said, please drop me a like on your way out. I really appreciate you watching. I mean that every time I say it. And leave a comment below. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care.